In 2022, a random Tuesday, I received a message from my then boyfriend. Random day, I just learned that we were gonna break up. And it's very difficult for a woman who always has a plan to get that update because it's something that is different from the future that you imagined. So, always with a plan, and all of a sudden, your future is going to be different. It's very hard to navigate. But what makes that memorable was when the next day I went to work and tried to approach things in a very normal way, my boss caught that something was different with me. So he asked what happened, and I told him that I was undergoing a breakup. And then he told me, that day, drop everything and do what you need to do. And what I'm used to thinking, that relationships are not part of the valid reasons to actually get off work, which is usually for health reasons, family reasons, that day, it was a very strong statement that I received from my boss, that personal relationships actually matter. He was able to exhibit a very, very good example of empathy. And so, for today, I want to talk about how showing empathy could help leaders exhibit resilience at work. So that experience stayed with me. Even today, that was 2 years ago, I still remember it. And it taught me that resilience is not just about pushing through or toughening it out. In the Philippines, we're very much known to be resilient. Every time there's typhoon, we're back down, we put things together, and maybe after a month, we're there, we're smiling again. People always think of us as resilient people. But how is this exhibited at work? That moment of empathy from my boss didn't just help me get through a difficult time. It set an example of a compassionate leader, which I aim to be. In fact, in research from Catalysts shows that 61% of supported employees are more innovative versus the rest. They're always compared to maybe employees that are given less supportive leaders. It's hard for them to actually embrace and love the work that they're doing. The way my boss handled that situation that day enabled me to come back with a clearer mind and a stronger sense of resilience. So I was empowered to be resilient at work. Fast forward to a year after, I have a direct report, and we were in Singapore for a trip to learn from our Singaporean counterparts. The day before we had to go home, my direct report went to me crying and told me that he was encountering a relationship issue and he had to fly home earlier than the day intended. So that meant my direct report will spend his own money to go home early to attend to that. But in a split second, when I heard my direct report share with me that story, I remember the way that my boss also encouraged me to put my life first ahead of all of these priorities. So in the same way, I told my direct report, go, focus on what you have to do. In that moment, I was paying forward what my boss taught me. I wasn't just showing empathy. I was actively fostering resilience to my direct report by giving him permission to prioritize what matters the most in his life when he needed it the most. Research from Google shows that psychological safety is the most critical factor for more successful teams. Teams that feel that they are psychologically safe are more resilient, and they are willing to take risks and adapt well to changes. They embrace the company, they embrace the work better. This is the power of a supportive culture. It doesn't just make people feel good. It empowers them to be stronger and more resilient. In the company that I'm part of, in HepMill, we are very progressive. So in many progressive workplaces today, like the one that I'm part of, there is a strong commitment to respect people, to respect people's lives, to respect people's time. It includes allowing them to disconnect every weekend. It allows them to not be contacted when people are on their leaves. And when people are giving space and time to recharge, that is when they come back stronger, more resilient, and more 101% at work. That allows them to be more effective. In fact, The American Psychological Association reports that 91% of workers at companies that are supported in their well-being say that they feel motivated to do their work best, compared to 38% at organizations that don't prioritize it. Respecting people's time and well-being helps lay a foundation for them to be at their best in their workplace. But we know that there are a lot of external factors at play in life and at work. Personally, I gave the example, but other examples could be suddenly you learn that there's something that is wrong with your health, or maybe something about your family. Someone had to leave, and even at work, maybe you don't get the promotion that you're intending to have, and a lot of things would change, and then economic related hit. It changes your life all of a sudden, because suddenly you had to navigate in a very different way that you had planned. And because we know that there are always factors at play, external factors at play, you always have to find a way to always be strong and to always be in focus and to find a way to actually be able to be resilient. And for that, knowing that other people experience the same, it's very important to express empathy, to express understanding, to empower other colleagues, to empower the other future leaders also to be resilient in their own lives or in their own workplaces. To me, building a very resilient workplace means creating an environment where people are empowered to take care of themselves and support each other. A place where empathy isn't just shown in one-off instances, but is shown consistently in the workplace. It becomes woven into the very culture of the organization. So if there's one message that I want to leave with you today, it's that resilience in leadership isn't about standing alone. It's not about the individual. It's about creating a culture that stands with you. It's about fostering an environment that gives people the freedom to navigate their personal lives, the respect to feel valued, the support to recover when they're facing difficulties. Resilience thrives when people know that they have a network to catch them when they fall. The heart and the humanness of us and of our lives. That's how you empower resilience, not just for yourself, but for everyone that you lead.